Hello and welcome to the first ever series of videos of the new Nottingham Park 00 gauge model railway. Nottingham Park is a fictional DCC layout set in the East Midlands area, somewhere between Nottingham and Derby on the Midland Main Line. The time period that I'm going to be modelling is between the English, Welsh and Scottish and the DB Schenker on the freight side, and the Central Trains / East Midlands Trains era on the passenger side. So hopefully still kind of up to date, but still plenty of scope for lots of different liveries and rolling stock options. The plan for the layout is to have a mainline station, which is loosely based on the real Nottingham station, containing up to 6 platforms. Then moving along to a small medium-sized traction maintenance depot, which will stable the freight locomotives and the DMUs, all set in a busy town scene. I also have plans for a preserved steam railway line to run alongside the main line, which should have plenty of variety to keep things interesting. Well, they're the plans anyway. I'm fairly new to the model railway hobby, only having a simple setup when I was a kid, but now I have space and time, well, some time, for this new venture. This will be a long process, but hopefully an enjoyable one. Please feel free to comment, and subscribers would be great. Now let's look at the location for the layout and then onto a more detailed track plan. Thanks again for watching.
Okay, so this is the location for the new Nottingham Park layout, and basically it's in the garage. It's the only space available in the house to house such a layout of the size that I'm wanting to achieve. The sizes, rough sizes of the garage are 17 foot long along this wall here, from one end to the other. The total garage width is about 8 foot wide, and the main board, baseboard for the viewing area, will run along this back wall here, and hopefully it will be roughly about the same width as this cupboard all the way along, which is roughly about 3 foot 6 inches in width. So it should give us plenty of scope to do quite a bit of scenic work as well. We'll have the scenic work all the way along the back wall, slightly coming round towards more or less the centre of the garage door, maybe a little bit further, I'm not too sure yet. And then from there it's going to be a loop circuit, so we can keep trains constantly running all the time, and leave them running. So from here, sort of like down here, round, and then back to this baseboard here, we've got a door to contend with, and also a little passageway into the main house. So this side of the garage and these sections here will have just standard basic baseboards, just wide enough for the tracks to take the tracks, and we are going to have sort of like trestle table legs underneath them, so they can be disconnected and stored underneath the actual main baseboard area when not in use. So this is going to be permanent along here, permanent fixture, but from here all the way around this side to there, probably it's going to be pack away baseboards basically. So then we get the best of both worlds with this. We get the garage when we need storage, and we also get the model railway when we're giving it a decent running session. So like I say, 17 foot in length along this wall here, like I say, 8 foot wide from there to there, and the scenic area of the baseboard will probably be about 3 foot 6 inches wide all the way down the 17 foot length. So it gives us a fair area to work at. So that's the location for it. Most of the work will be done here. This is just a little work area, and all the how-to videos will probably be done here. This needs a bit more tidying up at the moment, but nice little area out the way to do it. So that's the location for the Nottingham Park layout.
So now we'll have a look at the detailed track plan, and this is a rough drawing of the Nottingham Park layout. I've tried to have a look into doing the iCAD version on any rail, but I just didn't get on with it. I find it difficult to get the right track pieces in and things like that. So what I've done is I've drawn a semi plan to scale, and we'll just have a quick run through this of the ideas that we've got for Nottingham Park.
So if we start at one end, basically we've got a 17 foot length along the back wall in the garage for the location of the railway, and this is the viewable sort of like scenic side, if you like, of the railway. So what I've done is I've organised the baseboards into 100 centimetre squares, and basically this 5 of these along the baseboard would give us roughly just under 17 foot. So the first board, which will go in the corner and start, is basically hidden tracks underneath a town scene. I think if we've got quite a lot of track on the baseboard, and I didn't want it to look too cluttered. Sometimes you can overdo it, I think, when you look at some of the model railways that are out there. So a bit of a scenic break, plenty of interest here on the top. We'll probably make this a market scene, square type scene, with low relief buildings along the back there, low relief buildings along this back edge, and then, like I say, a market square with plenty of interest, road going round, and all different dioramas there. So the tracks will exit off the curve and look as though when it comes out the tunnel mouth will look as though it comes out perfectly straight, as though it's not come round this curve at all. It comes into a series of junctions and crossovers. So with this setup at the moment, I think I've worked out that obviously we can get more or less any train into any series of tracks when we're going to bring them into different platforms. So it keeps things really, really interesting on this end of the platform. Up here is a scenic wall, a retaining wall, and behind that I've planned to run a hidden preserved steam railway line. So at the moment you wouldn't be able to see that. And this above this hidden track would be a street scene. So again, low relief buildings all the way along the back edge there, making this a busy town centre road, and would tie in with the size of the station. So the platforms are going to be quite wide, double width, and I plan to put railway buildings, station buildings on the actual platforms themselves, a bit like the real Nottingham station. And in a later video we'll be doing a fact-finding mission to Nottingham, and taking photos and generally looking at that station for a lot more detail. I've also incorporated a bay platform, so it keeps things again interesting, just on one side at one end. And we've gone for two lines here with a platform on the very edge. Now, whether this platform can be fitted or this secondary line can be fitted to the baseboard at the width, I don't know. We've got to see whether we can do that or not. So we've got station car park at the end of the retaining wall, and then going down, and what we'll have is either an unmade road or a made road for the depot and Network Rail access road. So we'll probably have some kind of security at this end here, only available for staff. And then we go into the main station building. This will be situated over the railway tracks. I've been looking at different station buildings, like grand station buildings that are available. We've got the card kits and things like that, but I really wanted a plastic structure, to be honest with you. There's nothing wrong with card kits. I just think that the plastic structure is the way to go for me, the resin structures. So I've been looking at this, and I have plans to... I've looked on one of the YouTube videos, and the northeastern layout, and he's incorporated the Fala Bond station, I believe, onto his station, and he's altered it slightly to make it look more English than the German counterpart, and it does look well. It looks really well. So that's the one that I'm going for, I think, and station it across the lines above the station, and it would give us a grand station type, again to tie in with the Nottingham design. Again, like I say, the old station is loosely based on Nottingham station, but that's the plans. We also, on the front of that, will have a bus station to keep things nice and interesting, break it up from the railway tracks a little bit, and the main road across the bridge, again going onto the street scene. Going a little bit further on, the tracks will emerge from underneath all this darkened area here, and should keep things really interesting, to be honest with you, underneath there. And we're going up to a canal scene and towpath, so the bridges will go over the canal. We'll have probably some narrow boats along here and things. Again, it just breaks it up a little bit. And then we go over to this here is where the preserved steam railway line will exit. So I'll try and make it look like it's coming out of a tunnel mouth, what used to be used by British Rail, but it's now been acquired by a private steam railway. And this will go into a passing loop with a small preserved station building, so we can get the steam and period rolling stock in there. And then across from that we go to the traction maintenance depot with a DMU stabling point. Again, rough drawing, not to scale, but this is what I'm hoping to kind of achieve. So we'll start at this end here. We've got a signal box or some kind of power box there, two-car DMU shed here, so it'll fit comfortably a 158 unit, two-car 158 unit. They're probably about the longest DMUs that we'll have on this layout. And then a single siding for DMU storage. And then the bottom one will be a three-car DMU siding, just storage with a stabling point. Plans to put a little siding in here, and that will be for the Network Rail sidings, so the tamper machines and things like that can sit there. And then we move on to the main traction maintenance depot, This will be 2 loco length, 3 road diesel Locum TMD. I'm looking at plans to scratch build that myself, but again, it's going to happen in a long period of time. This the fueling points will put across the 3 lanes into the traction maintenance depot, and also onto this side here, so the DMUs will drop onto this side in through the loco wash, but also get fueled up at the same time. Office buildings here, and then this is where we see the first actual bend on the tracks from the scenic point of view. And what I plan to do with that is the 4 tracks, I'll plan to bank them 4 tracks on the curve, so just like a real modern railway. And this is the preserve line here that will run really alongside it once it gets off to the end of the baseboard. That won't be a banked curve, that will just be flat. So you'll be able to clearly distinguish the Network Rail side of things. And I'll put some kind of security fence in all the way around just to separate them. Plan to put a little 2 lanes steam shed there, just to keep the steam side interesting, so we can park trains up in here, we can uncouple, and then we can drop it into the shed, and then another train can come out, loco can come out and connect up, so it keeps things interesting. And then the back scene again, I plan to put low relief sort of like Midland Railway terrace style housing along here. It would tie in with all this and the town scene as well, and then probably some back of some modern housing there, and then behind the station we plan to put some Victorian sort of like low relief factories there. So that's the track plan. I dare say that the whole of this, like I say, it's a rough drawing, it's not really to scale. I have checked some of the measurements out, and I think unless you're going to go down the AnyRail side of things, software, then you won't get a true representation until we actually start building it on the baseboards. The one thing that I have done is I've taken this to scale, and this can actually be fitted in the 100cm square board quite easily. So the curve that I'm after is perfectly fine. So I do know that this does work. And the dotted line here along the bottom is where the 100cm board finishes. So we should have the track straightened up in plenty of time before it comes out into the scenic area. So that's a quick look at the Nottingham Park layout on the screen, on the paperwork. So yeah, so the next update should be actual progress into the model railway side of things. We should start seeing some kind of actual physical work, I should imagine. I may have plans to do, because I'm new to this, and I want to try out a few different things, what works, what doesn't. I may even build a small test board, test layout, so to speak, just to hone my skills a bit, and just see how things work, things don't, what point motors I'm going to use, what track system I'm going to use. I've not decided any of that yet. Like I say, it's really in the early planning stages at the moment. So, like I say, we'll see how we go on. But that's what I aspire to achieve with the Nottingham Park layout. Like I say, it should keep things really interesting. And again, this is a really, really long-term plan. This is when we've got time to do it, and when we've got money to do it, because this is going to be quite an expensive hobby. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. But I think it'll be very rewarding, even if I get to 50% of this. And I think it'll drive me on to complete it. So yeah, so that's the Nottingham Park. Any comments would be brilliant. What you think is great, what you think is not good, what we could change. Yeah, so see you in the next update. Thanks, bye.